Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Helen Vallabasalone here again with Afternoon Tea in a Chat. And we're going to be enjoying our tea. I've got my tea here in my beautiful English teacup, which I love to have here. And we're going to be chatting as well with motivation, with all the things that we've been doing in the past and we're going to keep doing in the future. So I'd like to introduce my guest today, who is Lorena Rachman. So Lorena, how are you? What are you? Introduce yourself. Tell me what you're doing today. And do you have your cup of tea?
Well, I have a cup of Argentinian tea that's called
Oh,
mate,
perfect. Yes.
right? And yeah, I'll be having my mate.
Nice.
uh,
Excellent.
well, my name is Lorena Rachman. Hi, everyone. I'm in Aventura, and I'm here working, trying to help people with their career goals. That's what I do. I'm trying to see if I can help people who are displaced in their current occupations find a new career path.
And in this time right now, with all the people being safe at home and a lot of virtual networking and a lot of virtual working at home, is the careers that you have access for people to do, is it virtual? Can they do it virtually?
Yes, nowadays
Oh,
everything is set up for people to work remotely. Um, we hope that in a few months people can start coming back to the office little by little. But if they choose not to, they can still do it remotely.
so how did you get into this, helping people with their careers? How did you fall into that type of thing, or was it something you planned to happen?
It wasn't really something that I planned. I think that life took me in this path. I used to be school director. I used to put teams together and train teams at my school. I used to work with international students, um, people that came from all over the world to study English in the United States. And my role as an academic manager and eventually school director was to hire the teachers and the personnel and assign them to their classes and train them and put teams together. And eventually, with the change of administration in the United States, students were denied their visas and they were not able to come to
Yeah.
the States anymore that
Mm-hmm.
easily. So a friend introduced, she said, like, you could be great for this. I mean, you're so used to putting teams together and hiring, and you could be great for this position that my company is looking for. Why don't you apply? And so I applied, and here I am 2 years later. uh,
Nice.
yeah, and
So you
I
obviously,
enjoy.
yeah, I was going to say you obviously enjoy it, which is good, you know. So in this time right now, a woman getting up the ladder, trying to break glass ceilings, and being in a world where you are competing with men all the time and trying to do things for yourself. How do you help yourself with your self-development, with your self-care, especially right now when people are at home and they're working remotely? So what sort of things do you do to help yourself move forward?
Um, so there's a few things that I do, especially these days, and since the abrupt changes in the world, I made sure to keep my same schedule. For me, keeping my same schedule is uh, helps me keep my sanity and the order of the day. So I still wake
Mm.
up at 6:30. I do my workout. If I sometimes I go outside for a workout, I go for a walk and try to enjoy a little bit of nature. Sometimes I do it at home instead of going to the gym. I start work at the same time that I would normally start. I try not to linger in bed, and oh, I can stay half an hour later. I don't have to commute. I don't have to this. So for
Exactly.
me, I try to keep my same schedule. But I do find that I have all the time, all that commuting time that I didn't, that I couldn't use before for personal use. So now I decided to enroll on a few online courses, and to have some personal projects, going through closets, uh, try to organize other things, trying to schedule Zoom happy hours with friends, and trying to keep busy and trying to see uh, where the opportunity lays, uh, to see where we are moving forward.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Zoom happy hours going on. I know I have one every Friday night, and I have one on a Tuesday. And what I found right now is that people and families are actually communicating more than they've ever done, because they feel that they need to keep in touch. So they're doing all these Zoom calls, and families are reconnecting and friends are reconnecting. And although it's virtual, it's still a connection. And I found that everyone that I speak to has said, you know what, I spoke to so-and-so and I haven't spoken to them for years. And oh my God, I spoke to my sister who's over in London, and all that. So there's a lot of good things coming out of this. And I think looking at the positive, and I know that that's what you do. You always tend to look at the positive, and you always tend to look for what is good. And I know that a couple of times when we've met in person before, you had different things that you were reading and studying and all that sort of thing. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, for me, studying and reading is part of who I am, and is part of what I need in order to become the person that I want to become. I read a lot about spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Kabbalah. It's something that I'm, passionate about. And I like to study about humanistic astrology. That is a type of astrology, but it's not predictive astrology. It's just sees the influences of the universe on whatever events are going on in the world, and how we can use this energy uh, to our own benefit.
And how is that working for you for the COVID?
Well, I'm just a novice student, I would say. I try to read and learn, and obviously there's a lot of things going on in the universe that could help understand the kind of shifts that we are going through in terms of
Right.
society and the world, and the way that people are going to see things from now on. But I'm definitely not a specialist too.
But it's good to dabble. I remember dabbling in astrology when I was in my younger days, when I lived in Australia, and it's interesting. I did astrology and I did numerology, and there's a lot of things, but you have to keep up with it all the time, because now I used to know all the numbers, and now it's like, well, how the hell can I do it now, type of thing. It's not something you got to keep doing all the time. So from your perspective, with everything that you're doing with your career, with your self-development, with the courses, the online courses, I'm glad you're saying online courses, because I've had online courses that people attend all the time, and right now is the best time to do online courses. And I just sent an email out today about exactly that, getting on online courses. And I've been doing a few myself too. It's a good time to take advantage of it. But what would you say inspires you to have your values and your moving forward into the next sort of 5 years?
Well, I think that you have to, what inspires me is that, in every time of change, when there's a time of deep change and there's a time of shift in perception, there's also time of opportunity for growth.
Mhm.
And we have to capitalize on this, see this as an opportunity to change and evolve into better people, better family member, better friend, better worker, better,
Right.
in the different roles that we play in our lives. There's always opportunity to change, and now we probably have the time to kind of stop a little bit, stop on our tracks and say, where do I want to go and how am I going to get there?
So how do you then segue right back to where we started? How do you get there? So with your helping people with their careers, what sort of careers do you help people with? Is it a niche, or is it all types of careers?
No, in my particular position, I work for the financial industry sector, so I basically focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also an English teacher. That's why I used to work with international students. And I also try to help people review their resumes and, on the side, maybe rewrite their resumes, because I look at for my position, for my job, I look at resumes all day.
Right.
And from a hiring manager like me, I know what I'm looking for in a resume, so
Mm-hmm.
I can gear people towards what are some points that can make their resume stand out. And so if somebody seeks, my help in that regard, then I do that. In
And,
terms
and,
of,
and we'll put the link when we post this. We'll put the link below that people can contact you. So if they need any help or anything, then
Mhm.
they'll have your details. So we'll have those there below. So what would you advise a young person coming out into the world, to be able to move themselves into getting themselves ahead? What would you have wanted to know that you would impart to someone now?
Nowadays, I think that you have to show somehow that you have the drive and that you have the tenacity and adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to changes, and you have to showcase all those skills in your resume. It's not only where you got your degree from, or what your previous work experience is, but what are your skills? How can what are you bringing to the table that it's different from what other person is bringing? So those things are important to highlight when you're writing a resume. Mm-hmm.
So what is the one nugget you would give to someone?
um, I would say organization is key when it comes to resume writing. Highlighting your objectives and your skills, not only in terms of you being able to use Excel or Word or whichever software or program, but also what skills you bring as a person, as a human being. Are you consistent? Are you adaptable? Are you a fast learner? You have good communication skills? You have good uh, organizational skills? So not
So a
only the
lot of this,
credentials, but also the skills.
right, a lot of the soft skills as well,
Mm-hmm.
which employers are now taking notice of, and having been teaching them for years and years in businesses, they're finally now getting into it.
Exactly.
And learning those soft skills for yourself as well, and knowing that you have those. So your tea that you're drinking, tell us about your tea. Not many people know about your tea.
Oh, well, you drink this tea from this gourd, and there's is loose leaves, and this straw has a filter in the bottom, so you don't get the leaves through. and you just pour the hot water from a thermos. And usually it's a very social kind of thing. It's a ritual to drink mate in Argentina. You usually
Uh-huh.
drink it with your friends or with your family, and you drink one and you pass it to the next person. Which I think this is a this is going to be,
No.
it's not gonna happen like this anymore. People will have, each one will have their own mate,
Yes.
their own gourd, and but it's an acquired taste. It's bitter, and it's kind of a strong taste. I grew up with it, so I like it. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, it's fun. I like it.
So, Lorena, it was wonderful hearing about what you're doing, and you're such an empowered person and an inspiration to others, and your energy comes across that way, even through a video. So it's great that you can impart that and help people, and the fact that you are helping others reach their goals and dreams through their career opportunities and their self-development opportunities is great. And I think it's wonderful that you're doing all those things. So I thank you for sharing that with us today. And for everyone else, if you like this, please click the like button. Also subscribe, and also make a note at the end of what sort of things you want to hear about, or if there's anyone particularly that you would like me to interview for you as well. If you want to be on the show, there's a link there for that as well. So click on the link and put your time in the calendar. We'll have Lorena's details down there as well. So if you want help with your resume, or you want help, some career advice, or you just want to chat to her, her link will be there as well. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time with Afternoon Tea with Helen.